the assumption that's made by all the people who are incompetent ever since they were swallowed by something happened years ago, decades ago, is they assume that money deposited in a bank or attributed to be posed in a bank represents value. It does not. Money is a very tricky thing, money as such, because it has no intrinsic means of defending itself against hyperinflation or simple other kinds of problems. So only a certain credit system is the key to this process. Now, what happens is this, is that we have now three categories we're considering. First of all, Glass-Steagall. That is an absolute. Glass-Steagall must be imposed as the original Glass-Steagall form. The Franklin Roosevelt Glass-Steagall is what must be done. The credit system, what do we mean by a credit system? That the federal government organizes a system under which credit is uttered, and the anticipation is that is a time factor, that if we assign a certain value to something as credit, we must assume that by the time that credit has been collected or realized, that there will be growth in the value of the product and growth in the value of the credit itself. This can be interpreted various ways. It means that things become cheaper, and therefore you have a gain, which is margin for profit, because things became cheaper through productivity, for example, is that kind of method. But in the case, but otherwise, there is no other source value in terms of money as such, merely as circulated as is being done now with this hyperinflationary process, which is about to destroy the United States. That cannot be tolerated. So therefore, the value lies in what? It lies in physical values per capita. Now, this also includes the increase of the value of work, the value of production. Because what happens as we become more efficient, we tend to go into higher technologies. These are more productive, and therefore we have a difference between the point that the credit is issued first and the time that it's matured when the payoff has to come. So the assumption is that an increase in productivity in two ways, either in terms of the absolute productivity or the combination of an increase in productivity and also an decrease in the relative cost of the same item. We become more efficient, we can produce the same thing more cheaply. That's another source. But the point is that the key thing to the whole system is that you must realize that there must be an increase in the physical productive powers of labor as expressed in terms of net production, that must occur. And that's the basis of the credit system. That's where the question of determination of value lies. In other words, if you want a stable system, you've got to have growth, physical growth, or improvement in the efficiency of physical growth. So therefore, what you have is, by advancing credit, as if you were loaning money, that this money must increase in value. Well, the money doesn't actually increase in value. What increases in value, the cost of the product decreases in value, in terms of relative value. And that's the basis of credit. Credit does not lie in letting money sit in a bank. It must do something. It must change its character. It must be more efficient, or it must be more enriching. It means technological progress. It means higher rates of energy flux density, which is an essential part of this. People are more skilled. They do a job which is a more skilled job. They produce more value with the same amount of nominal labor. That's the system. We must generate growth. We must increase the productive powers of labor. We must advance technology. Absolutely. We must increase the energy flux density of the system flowing through the entire system. So all the myths which Republicans and Democrats alike believe in with a kind of religious, or should we say satanic passion, is wrong. The generation of credit as real credit occurs only by the increase of the productive powers of labor as measured in physical terms. This means the physical terms in the sense that people who are doing the same thing do it more efficiently, or do it at higher technology, with greater, for example, the increase of energy flux density in terms of higher density of power per capita. All these factors are factors which can lead to the creation of credit potential on which real credit is based. So the basic reform, first of all, is that the generation of credit is associated with the credit system, not with the simple Glass-Steagall system as such. Therefore, the Glass-Steagall system's function is to give us a fixed reference point for which to make the comparisons on which growth is determined. And that is something which is not understood except for a rare few individuals in both sides of the Atlantic. And that's what the problem is.